So guys, here in Australia, we have some amazing journalists. They are the fantastic journalists of the world. I would say there are probably no journalists better in the world than our own mainstream media. Our journalists are so good, they put America to shame. Yeah, they're so good at bullshit. But let's jump into it. So, this is a segment that was aired on Channel 9. Now, you won't find this on their Facebook group because it's been taken down. You'll find it on their YouTube channel, but surprise, surprise, the comments are turned off. I wonder why the comments on all the articles are turned off. But regardless, so let's have a look at the likes to dislikes. Oh, wow. That's a ratio and a half. So why are they doing so bad? Why are they turning off comments? Why are they minusing in the ratio? Why are they so badly ratioed? Well, let's go through and let's watch this video and let's watch the mental gymnastics that the mainstream media has to do. So, keep in mind the title of this video, Russia accused of being responsible for Poland missile strike. Now, we know this is bullshit, right? We know this because we know that the missile actually came from Ukraine. We know that the weapons system that was sold to Ukraine was actually from the United States, right? But let's go see, and let's see how Russia is being accused of being responsible for the missile that landed in Poland. All right, let's listen to what they have to say, because maybe there's some news or information I'm missing.
NATO leaders have stepped back from the brink after learning the missile strike that killed 2 men in Poland was most likely deployed by Ukraine. But world leaders are making it clear that doesn't absolve the Kremlin of responsibility.
So the missile that was fired from Ukraine into Poland that brought everybody almost on the brink of World War III, and responsibility is Russia? Russia is responsible for Ukraine's missile going haywire and amazingly aiming for the nearest NATO country that almost sparked World War III. That's some mental gymnastics. Let's listen.
In the lush fields of eastern Poland, police searched for fragments of the Russian-made missile that claimed the lives of 2 men aged around 60.
Russian-made missile. My question is this. Why is Ukraine firing Russian-made missiles? Doesn't make sense, right? And we also know that the missile wasn't Russian-made. The Russians used these missiles, but they're actually made in America, from my understanding. We know this because some internet sleuths have gone through and found a photo of some of the fragments of the missile. And they went through and they compared them to blueprints and design prints for the missiles that get sold around the world. And they found out that there's a certain number of holes in this certain piece. And these are only, these holes, these breathe holes, are only available in the American-made missiles. Actually, I'll see if I can find it for you. Give me a sec. So guys, here's the post here. So this is the broken piece of a Ukraine S-300 AD missile that landed in Poland and killed 2 people. Now, this was posted on the 16th of November, so literally 2 days ago. Internet sleuths, 4chan, love your work. Right, so that's the missile piece there. That's the piece of the missile. There's the pieces of it, fragments, yada, yada, yada. If we go to this one here, Russia was right. Biden confirms the missile that fell in Poland was from Ukraine. Same ones that America and NATO supplied them. Medvedev mispronouncing that, says they're trying to start World War III early, which I would agree with. But, so here's the 2 notches, the thread and the holes. Here's the bolt pattern from the 300 fill fragment from Ukraine. And then you can confirm it actually comes from the missile. So, yeah. And that's loose. Love your work. So now that we've gone through and we've shown the photos and stuff like that, let's get going with the video.
While locals spoke of their fears, could the deadly blast draw Poland and the rest of NATO into the brutal conflict just across the border in Ukraine? An emergency NATO meeting held the answer.
The incident was likely caused by a Ukrainian air defense missile fired to defend Ukrainian territory.
Crucially, this was not a deliberate act of aggression by Russia. The Polish president saying a rocket hit our territory, it wasn't intentional, it was not a missile targeted at Poland. His Prime Minister confirming the country won't invoke Article 4 of the NATO treaty, a plan of action if a member nation's border is under threat. But Volodymyr Zelensky insists he has no doubt the missile was not Ukrainian and was in fact fired by Russia, and wants his country to be part of the investigation. Here in Warsaw and across the other side of the border in Kyiv, there is agreement that the ultimate responsibility for the deaths in this missile blast lies with Russia.
Let me be clear. This is not Ukraine's fault.
In Warsaw, Brett McLeod, 9 News.
How is this not Ukraine's fault? Ukraine fires a missile that was supplied to them from NATO. It lands in Poland, killing people, and it's not Ukraine's fault. It's Russia's fault, right? Because Russia's provoking them. So our funky wonky missiles is not our fault. They go off the track. This is the same guy and the same group that are trying to kickstart a war, mind you, in my opinion, and that are claiming that Russia's responsible. Okay. Isn't that like blaming the gun manufacturer for someone doing a shooting spree? Who pulled the trigger? And now the funny thing is that the Premier or Prime Minister of Ukraine, Zelensky, wants to be a part of the investigation and keeps blaming Russia for the wonky missile of his own missile. And he wants to be a part of the investigation because there's no way he's going to try and steer that or blame Russia for that responsibility, right? Here's a theory for you. So I have a theory about what might have happened. Ukraine is losing the war to Russia. Ukraine wants the rest of the world to jump in to help defend their territory. And instead of admitting that he's gone through and that he's losing the war, he fires a missile from Ukraine into Poland, knowing that the Russians also use these same missiles, and that they have a stockpile of them at least, and that they're likely to get blamed for it. The only problem was the internet sleuths detected that it wasn't actually, or did some detective work, and found that it wasn't actually a Russian missile because they're slightly different models and stuff like that. And the Ukrainians had to admit that it was actually them that fired the missile now. But the reason they fired it was because they wanted the world to come to their aid to fight against Russia. So they tried to false flag them. Is any of this sounding remotely possible, considering the Americans literally mentioned a couple of months ago about a possible false flag mission coming out from Russia? Now we know who's the king of false flags here, right? Is America. Yeah. They're warning us that Russia's going to do a false flag mission. And then a couple of months later, we just happened to get a false flag coming out of Ukraine. Or what I think is a false flag coming out of Ukraine. Trying to kickstart World War III. And if it wasn't for those pesky 4chaners and internet sleuths, they probably would have got away with it. Kind of makes you wonder, doesn't it? Makes the old noggin, you know. Are we paying attention yet, guys? Are we listening? Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. But I do want to congratulate Channel 9 on being a bang up job when it comes to reporting. The mental gymnastics you've had to go through to find some way that Russia is responsible for this missile. It couldn't have just been, a mistake or a false flag. We've got to blame Russia somehow. Even after it comes out that it's not their missile, after they're not the ones firing it, after they're not the ones supplying the missile to Ukraine, it's still their fault because the air defense system was active because of possible weapons and invasion. Don't get me wrong, Russia's a lot of things. Don't know if they're psychic or able to fire rockets. I'm surprised they actually haven't gone with that narrative. I'm surprised we haven't heard that Russia hacked the missile defense system and caused it to fire at Poland. I imagine that was... I thought that would have been the next thing, but yeah, hey. Maybe there's still time. Let me know what your thoughts are in that comment section below. Obviously, guys, this video has been helpful. Please smack that like button. If you're new to the channel, welcome and subscribe. Obviously, I am on Rumble, link in the description below. Please do go and subscribe there because the amount of strikes that we get on YouTube is ridiculous. And apparently, YouTube is using Microsoft Minutes now. So, 7 days is actually closer to 14 days because reasons. I put a video up a couple of days ago. Check it out. Apart from that, guys, let me know what your thoughts are in that comment section below. Like I said, Russia's a lot of things, but they're not responsible for your faulty missiles. Have a great night. Enjoy yourself. We'll see you in the next demonetized video from YouTube.